Welcome to another episode of Let the Truth Be Told. I thank the Lord for all our listeners that listen to us and watch us every Sunday night. And so I thank the Lord for you guys and all you guys that listen to us on 90.1 WEFT every Sunday morning. You know, every time I run into some people, they say, Sean, I listen to you every Sunday morning from 8 to 9 on WEFT, and then I watch your program at 7:30 every Sunday night. I appreciate you guys, because that's what make our community better. When we interact with each other and we got relationships that make us better. So I thank the Lord for you. We started to do this program down at my funeral home, and so Will's going to give you some funeral home shots at that last episode of when life has brought its end. But we changed it up a little bit. We didn't want to do it there. We wanted to brighten it up a little bit and bring us down to the barbershop. And the barbershop is Steve Harvey said it's the black man's country club. And that's what we always like to look at it. It's the place where everybody can come and share their dreams, share their aspirations, share their opinions, And so that's why we wanted to come down to my barbershop. I thank the Lord for giving me so many different opportunities to have so many different avenues where we can shoot a shot. So I thank the Lord for having Williams Memorial Services, 1203 North Market Street in Champaign. The Whip Hair Designs, 904 North 4th Street in Champaign, and having our insurance business at 313 North Matter Street in Champaign. Lord done blessed us with a lot. I shared Will on Facebook today is that, when I got back to Champaign in 1995, I was walking. I didn't have anything, I had done squandered all my stuff, chasing a dream of where I thought the Lord wanted me at, but I didn't have the Lord included in my program. And then I had to wait till I got back to Champaign, and then I had to realize the position that I was at. And you got to know your position. You got to know your lane, know where you're at. And so I knew that the Lord wanted incorporated in my program when I was out of town. Now that I got the Lord incorporated in my program, the Lord then blessed me and flourished me to such a level where I can have a bunch. Pastor talked about at Jericho Missionary Baptist Church, 1601 Bloomington Road. He talked about, having keys. And I thank the Lord for having a bunch of keys to a bunch of different businesses that allow me where we can shoot here at my barbershop. And I thank the Lord for Jerry W. Purtle and all the guys that have spearheaded to help me be able to help and a blessing to other people. So I thank the Lord for all those things. You can't take anything for granted. You can't take it for granted because the same way you came up, the same way you can come down. And so I thank the Lord for everybody that's been that bridge and that been that gap to help me make it where I can help other people. And so as I was talking about the Facebook message that I had earlier, we talked about what I posted was that, we are slacking on businesses here in this community. We got a few businesses, but one of the things that we don't do is we don't shop with our businesses, and we don't shop with our African-American businesses. We need to shop African-American. When I was in California, and so that was a great experience for me when I was in California. My first barbershop I ever worked into was the Watts. And Watts, I always remember Watts from Sanford and Son. Sanford and Son, he always talked about Watts. I'm at Watts. And I never knew what Watts was, but I was on 103rd in Wilmington. That was my first barbershop I ever worked into. It was a great experience for me. It was a great reality check for me to let me know that, we in Champaign, we talk about a lot of stuff, but brothers and sisters in Watts, they way worse off than brothers and sisters in Champaign. And so the struggle that we got in Champaign ain't nothing compared to the struggle that brothers and sisters got in Watts. So when I got in Watts and I found out their struggle, and I just got it, you kind of get intertwined when you're there. And so I got intertwined to what was going on in the neighborhood and what was intertwining in the barbershop. So I got familiar with all the people and I built relationships there. And so what happened is that I started learning and respecting what we had here in Champaign. We got great things going on in Champaign. And after I left Watts and I And I got on, and my next shop that I worked for Opposites Attract. It was called Opposites Attracts. Cindy owned the shop, and it was a great shop. And she had 5 shops around that town. And when I got to Opposites Attracts on Crenshaw, 54th and Crenshaw, woo, that was a change for me. That was a different experience. And it learned me a lot. It learned me a self-respect for myself, because we had different ethnic groups that were all around. We had Latinos, we had Haitians, we had all types of different people. And so it let me respect and know that what my network was. And I had to get out there and explore and adventure out. A lot of times we don't adventure out. We don't take ourselves to our peak of where we can be at. We always like to just stand still and do what the next man doing or get in somebody else's lane. What that allowed me to do is stay in my lane and do what I need to do. And so many people inspired me right there on 54th and Crenshaw because I watched what they did. They went out there and they had aspirations to promote whatever business they were promoting. And we got to promote what we're trying to promote. So after having that experience on 54th and Crenshaw, man, great experience, great people that I love and that love me to death. Man, I moved around. I met a lot of celebrities out there, met a lot of different people. But then even after all that, sometimes you can have everything around you and things still go wrong, And what happened is that my God connection was disconnected. I didn't have my God connection. I was kicking it and I was having fun and I'm doing what young folks do. Yeah, all young folks do that. Our young folks do that today. They want to do everything that they want to do. They want to include God in their circle. And a lot of our older people do the same thing. We've been around for a long time, but we don't want to connect with God. So what happened is that things start going wrong. You start losing stuff. You start missing things. Your car go wrong and your house go wrong and your job go wrong and things like that. So what happened is that I ended up making it right, landing right back to where God started me at, and that's Champaign-Urbana. So I ended up coming right back to Champaign-Urbana. But one thing I did? I started getting my God connection together. I started going to Church and Living God. I started listening to Bishop Gwynn and started listening to inspiring things that he's talked about, the inspiring things that he poured into my spirit. And it said, Sean, you can be better. And so every time you get an opportunity, make yourself better. Pour some God into you to make you better. Now, that might not work for everybody, but it worked for me. And I think it'll work for you also. So all my listeners out there, all my watchers out there, everybody say, Sean, what did you do? That's what I did. I poured into Love Corner, and now I pour into Jericho and many other ministries throughout the community, because you got to have some type of connection, some type of being that's going to help you make you better. And that's what made me better.